So we've talked at length here recently about what a wild offseason it's been. Whether we're talking about the transfer portal or more specifically the coaching carousel, there's really been no shortage of storylines. But today, I wanted to take a look at my top 3 favorite head coaching hires that have been made this offseason, and I'm even going to give you an honorable mention. And with that in mind, the 3 teams that I think are incredibly intriguing in no particular order are first off Mario Cristobal with the Miami Hurricanes, Brent Venables with the Oklahoma Sooners, and then Lincoln Riley moving to the USC Trojans. We're going to run through why I have these 3 in particular, but before we do, as always, y'all know the drill. I want to hear from you. Hop down to the comments, Y for yes, N for no. First and foremost, do you agree with my top 3? And then secondly, what does your top list look like? If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, hit that bell notification. I do constant college football content. You don't want to miss any of it. And if you enjoyed this content, like and comment down below. Those interactions are massive to content creators such as myself. But with all that being said, let's hop right into this. And before we get to my 3, I'm actually going to start with an honorable mention, and that's Brian Kelly, now with the LSU Tigers. And Brian Kelly is an individual that's been to the college football playoffs. He's had several successful seasons as the Notre Dame head coach, and now he gets to move to LSU, in a region that is so fertile in terms of recruiting, at an organization in LSU that gets to be the most captivating sporting franchise collegiately in their state. So he's poised for success. Whenever you look at how talented Louisiana is, it's consistently one of the deepest states in the nation in terms of recruiting capabilities. And now Brian Kelly gets to insert himself into a situation where LSU is the only major player in that state. Everybody else is trying to break down the barrier. So why doesn't he crack the list? Why is he an honorable mention? Well, because LSU has gone through a lot over the past few years, and he's in the SEC. My only point here is there's a lot of competition in the SEC right now, a lot of talent, and he's trying to break his way into that. Something that the other coaches on this list have a bit of an advantage in. And with that, let's go ahead and jump into my top 3. And we're going to start with Mario Cristobal. Remember, these are in no particular order. I want y'all to rank the order you would put these in and then give me your list of 3 and let me know whether you agree or disagree. We'll start with Mario Cristobal at Miami, and this is one that I really like. Look, it's no secret. I've really been intrigued at what Mario Cristobal has done with Oregon. I've said this pretty frequently here over the past few weeks, that if the college football playoff entrance requires a 10, Oregon has consistently teetered between 7 and 9. Just right there where we constantly are wondering, is this the year where they're going to be able to do something? It's just never been able to happen consistently. But Mario Cristobal can recruit with the best of them. And when we've looked at the recruiting classes he's been able to get, you are really intrigued by the talent he's pulled. Specifically, I always talk about the 2 middle linebackers they have, that if they get on the field at the same time, they are going to be must-watch TV, in Sewell and Justin Flo. But now Mario Cristobal finds himself in Miami, and why is that so intriguing to me? Well, first and foremost, you're talking about a program that wants to get back to a level of success that they had in the recent past. We're talking about a team in Miami in the early 2000s that was running college football, putting out so many guys to the NFL, and the fan base is rabid to try and get that back. Secondly, you're talking about a state that, just as I talked about with LSU and Brian Kelly and how Louisiana is always so deep, Florida has so much talent every year, and so many teams have been able to establish bases in the state of Florida to be able to bleed it dry. Mario Cristobal coming to the state of Florida gives them an elite recruiter at the University of Miami in a really fertile recruiting grounds. And that's where this is going to be so interesting, because Florida's lost so much talent. Is Mario Cristobal going to be able to change that? Third, he's from the area, so if anybody's going to be incentivized truly to do this, it is him, and he's got the connections to be able to hit the ground running, something I really like. And finally, when you look at the state of the ACC right now, I said the other day, I don't expect Clemson to just fall off the face of the earth. Dabo Swinney's had the recipe for success there, but that's not to say that I expect them to be the Clemson that they've been the past few years. I think the truth usually lies somewhere in the middle. I think Clemson's set to be a really good team. I think they're very talented, obviously, and very well coached with Dabo Swinney, who's got national championship rings. So this is still going to be a very dangerous Clemson Tigers. My point being, if there was ever an opportunity to make your strike in the ACC, the time is now, when Clemson is having to replace so much in terms of staff. The time is now. An institution such as Miami is one that could do it, and Mario Cristobal, being the recruiter he is, could incite that base. So that's why he comes in on this list. Secondly, we'll go to USC and Lincoln Riley, and for a lot of the same reasons. Whenever he goes to California now, California is a state that is uber talented. In fact, just look around college football right now at the California quarterback. Though DJ Uiagalelei didn't have the season he wanted, he's still someone who was a 5-star coming out of high school. CJ Stroud was just in New York. Bryce Young, the Heisman Trophy winner, out of California. And then you look at Matt Corral, who's going to the NFL now, once again, out of California, not to mention JT Daniels. So there are so many talented passers coming from the state of California, and it's a region that produces some top-tier talent because there's a lot of good competition at the high school level there. Lincoln Riley is inserting himself into a situation that is somewhat synonymous with the ACC, except in the ACC you still have to worry about Clemson, even though I just said there's a window of opportunity right now, which is why I think it's so intriguing Mario Cristobal's there. The window of opportunity is exponentially larger in the Pac-12 because Mario Cristobal leaves Oregon. Dan Lanning comes, very intrigued about what Dan Lanning can do, just orchestrated a phenomenal defense, but point remains, now he's inserting himself into a situation in the Pac-12 where there really is no big dog right now. That is up for the taking, and if he can establish that, the Pac-12 is just waiting for someone to be able to do that. He goes to a historic brand in USC that, much like the fan base of Miami, needs a reason to care. This is also a fan base that hasn't been given a reason to care in quite some time. And it's up to Lincoln Riley to give them a reason to care come this fall. That's going to be something we have got to watch. And finally, Brent Venables with the Oklahoma Sooners. And as much as I talk about how much I love the familiarity Jeff Lebby and Dylan Gabriel have with one another, the same can be said about Brent Venables and the Oklahoma Sooners. He's a longtime staff member of the Oklahoma Sooners under Bob Stoops, and what we need to realize and why that's big is because he has an understanding of the expectations, but also the culture. Having an understanding of both of those before you've ever stepped foot in the door leads you to be able to hit the ground running. Not only that, but he went to an institution in Clemson that really only knew success with him there. So he backed up a really positive experience at the Oklahoma Sooners under Bob Stoops with really positive and tangible experience under Dabo Swinney at Clemson. Now he gets to merge that, and the result is going to be really interesting to see. But what I do love about Brent Venables and the Oklahoma Sooners is because he has that understanding, he's already able to envision what he wants his program to be, and we can see that reflected in the speed of the moves that he's made. I mean, we're talking about Caleb Williams hitting the transfer portal, and boom, that same night, a transfer quarterback is taken in. We're talking about a staff that was assembled in a really short amount of time considering everything that happens. The reason I love that is because it means he had a plan in mind. He had an idea for how he wanted this to look because he understands what a positive culture looks like. He's only known positive cultures, and he gets to insert himself into that situation. And though he hasn't been the head coach that has coached a team to the college football playoffs, he's been in multiple college football playoffs. He's been in no shortage of big games, and in a lot of those games, his defense did really well. So when we look at this situation holistically, Brent Venables is up there with the best of these hires. He's someone who understands the situation. He's someone who's been able to recruit in these grounds before. He went to Clemson and is now able to recruit in the grounds they had, only extending his effectiveness. And then you look at the staff he's put together. There have been a lot of great college football hires this offseason, and if you have someone contrary, please drop it down below. But those are my three in no particular order, and I'm very interested in hearing from y'all at how you would rank those. Hop down in the comments, let me know what you're thinking. That's it. See ya.